Whoa. All right. This is bad. So apparently, I've had no sound. This is embarrassing. Let me remove this. Okay. Well, I'm back on the computer at least. Son of a gun. Thanks, Julie, for letting me know. The comments weren't coming up on my phone. So this has been a 10 minutes of a disaster. Good God. Someday I'll get this thing right. I'm going to try and figure out how to make this work. And now my phone won't connect. Boy, man. Now I want to start over and retell all the stories I was just telling to fill time for 10 minutes. But it's been a horrible, horrible joke. Okay, so probably missed everything I said. So Ken from Ken's Comics, technical difficulties, computer wouldn't start. Now the computer's up. I was trying to do it on my phone, and apparently I didn't get the sound working on my phone for some damn reason. What we're trying to do here is, oh, well, the phone's on again. That's a little peek behind the curtain, man. So a little bit of live drawing today because I have a sketch goal, a sketch cover goal on my Kickstarter, and I decided that I would do a live drawing video for anybody who was who chose a sketch cover. So if you get a sketch cover for Angel's Blood, I will draw it live right here, and then I will trim it down and send you a video of your art, your book being made live in real time. That seemed like a neat idea at the time. If only I knew something about technology and broadcasting, maybe I'd make that work. So I'm trying to get some of this stuff together and now I got to get the angle right on my phone so that I can show you guys a sketch. That's okay, Patty. I was late. So I was late too, and apparently I spent the first 10 minutes talking to my phone with no sound. So this has been a crazy fun train wreck. It's one of those days where I was kind of hoping nobody was tuning in just yet. Thank anybody for watching. This is going to be a hoot. I think when I put this live, when this goes up, I'm going to edit it and cut out the first 10 minutes if I can, because I'm embarrassed, frankly. All right. Recap a little bit. Ken's Comics, been a rough year. Been a busy week. Emily just finished school, so it's weird. I officially have an 8th grader, which is weird because I don't feel like I had a 6th or 7th grader, really, because she didn't really get the full experience of either one of those grades. So she's just going to go through this. Oh, what's going on with my glasses? She's going to go through this. I was, in fact, talking to myself again. Yeah, genius. Real quick, the computer died on me and had to reboot. Facebook won't let you start late, so I jumped on with my phone just to get the live stream started, so I didn't have to post a new project and start a new link. And all of a sudden, apparently, I'm not even sure how, didn't have the sound on, so nothing that I said for the last 10 minutes made it. So I talked about Emily, I talked about dance, talked about recital. They're doing her dance recital this week. Today's her first dance recital in 2 years. Last night she helped out with the recreational class, which is cool because she's one of the big kids now, so she helps the little ones. It's a lot of fun. It's interesting and it's really good for her. She comes home so excited, like to be one of the teachers. One of the bigger kids helping the little tiny kids on stage do their point their toes, and seeing what that gives her is almost as exciting as watching her dance. So that's a lot of fun. So what we're doing today is our sketch cover for a backer named Will. So this is for Will. Thanks, Will. Um, I decided after my live stream on Monday to do all my new sketch covers live. And then everyone that orders a sketch cover or backs the Kickstarter at the sketch cover level will have a video of their comic book being made, at least the cover. These I have are these original blank covers. It's a full copy of issue number 1, but on the front, it's just art paper. So I can make an original one-of-a-kind sketch cover. So here's what I'm going to try and do today. I offer this up to everyone who's backed it already because I didn't want anybody who jumped on as an early bird to miss out. And then here from here on out, anyone that backs it is also going to get that same treatment. And it seems to me like a fun thing to do for me and for the backers. I mean, I got to draw them anyway. Might as well have some fun with it. So, Will asked me for an interesting request, and I was really excited. I'm really excited to do this. A little bit afraid because it's something I've never drawn before, and I can't remember how to pronounce this character's name. It's the first time I will be drawing a character that's not from Angel's Blood on an Angel's Blood cover. So that's going to be something. I'm going to try and do an approximation of an old Jack Kirby comic, a DC comic called The Demon. And for some reason, and maybe it's because I did that Jack Kirby homage. I don't know. Maybe this is just one of Will's favorite things. Will asked for this guy. I'm not going to show you the Jack Kirby because I will shame myself. I pulled one up for reference so I can work on it here. So there's this character that's a demon superhero. I think I'll post later about what the hell it is because seriously, I don't know this book at all. So it's been a lot of fun for me doing these sketch covers. Because I like doing the sketching. I love doing it live. So I'm excited to practice drawing in front of people. And I'm still not in front of people, but hopefully in August, live stuff's going to start coming back. Free Comic Book Day should be back in full force. This is where I could use some background music or a producer, because Lord knows, when I'm drawing, I get into the zone. I get into this place where time doesn't actually exist. And unless I'm drawing something like the Hulk or something I don't have to concentrate on, it's weird for me to talk during it. Anyone, my wife and daughter at home will tell you I sort of space out. So this character, the demon, I'm gonna go back and look up some of his books, man. So my apologies to Will for not really knowing what his favorite book's about, or his favorite character here. I don't draw like Jack Kirby. I never claimed to draw like Jack Kirby. So my apologies and forgiveness for giving it my best here. So some of you that might be friends or just general fans, I mean, Jack Kirby, one of the two great founders of most every Marvel comic. Stan Lee, of course, everybody knows, created and wrote the bulk of the Marvel comics in the 60s. Jack Kirby, though, man, that's for guys like me, that's the hero. Because comics is a visual medium. And so as much as story matters and the creation matters, the artists particularly in the 50s and 60s, really were uh, kind of the king because it's um. Let's see, how am I going to explain this? So anybody who doesn't know about the Marvel method was a collaborative style that Stan Lee kind of came up with, I think, and spearheaded, whether it was intentional or just by accident. He would kind of plot a story and not really completely um, write a script. And I wonder if maybe it's because comics were a new uh, way of storytelling. It's not like literature, art, theater. It's been around for decades. I mean, or centuries. Comics was still its own evolving medium. So the way a Marvel method would work would be Stan or somebody would kind of come up with a story, tell the artist what was going to happen. The artist basically scripts out the story visually, and then Stan goes back and the writer goes back and fills in the text, the word bubbles, like what's actually said to go along with said panels. So it's been argued as much as Stan Lee is the writer that Jack Kirby is as much the writer of the books as Stan, because as far as what happens panel to panel, uh, what that all those decisions, a lot of those decisions are made by the artist, not the writer. So I'm gonna do some of this stuff live. I might go back. I might go back and touch this up after the live stream. I feel a little awkward drawing something that I should never drawn before. I probably, if I were a smarter person, I probably would have tried practicing this guy before today. A lot of the stuff I draw live is stuff I know how to do, so I don't feel awkward drawing it. Um, and the reason I keep pausing is because I'm looking back and forth at a reference of the first issue of this to try and give it some sort of homage to Jack Kirby. It's not exactly the same. I'm not totally copying, but I'm trying to give it a little bit of like a reference. Like, oh, you would know if you know this cover, you'd know that this is the guy. Um, I wonder what these creators in the '60s felt like. Like Bob Kane? I always wondered, did he know when he was drawing Batman that he was making some of the most iconic uh, stuff ever? Like the costume has endured. Movies notwithstanding, the Batman costume has the same basic tenets of it. The bat on the chest, the utility belt, the long cape, the bat ears. Like there's stuff about it that you can't change. And I always wonder, eh, did they have any idea that this was just awesome and iconic, or were they just going with the flow like most of us? Like I think like Lin Manuel Miranda, did he know when he was creating Hamilton? I gotta move this. This isn't good for video probably, but when I'm drawing, I don't just draw in one uh, orientation. I'm always turning my paper. There is an amazing drawing table that I want to have someday. That it's got a spiral or a like a turntable that you clip your Bristol board to. It's at 11 by 17, and it spins, and it's the way I will spin this right now while I'm trying to draw on it. So, oh man, I'm showing my vaccination card. Keep it in my phone so I won't lose it. I lose a lot of things, and I do lose my phone regularly and often as well. But odds are I will always find the phone sooner or later. Um, so no comments yet. This guy, whatever this guy's name is, I'm gonna look it up before I close this video out. I'm gonna look him up. I want to do a little more background on this, and I think again, I might do some touch up off camera to make this a little bit nicer. But see, I'm trying to draw what I'm seeing on the page, and that's not working. Woo! Guess you can't attach that. I'm not Jack Kirby. Jack Kirby is a very singular artist from a very specific time, and um, I've learned, especially through doing some of these homage covers and um, practicing different styles. I've learned that I can only be me. And Todd McFarlane did a really great interview at one point in the '90s, and he said the best advice he could give a young artist is to not to try and be like him. Don't be the next don't try to be the next Todd McFarlane. There's already a Todd McFarlane. Be the next whatever your name is, you know. So um that's good advice. I don't know how helpful it was, but because I think when people go to him, somebody like that for advice, they're looking for like seriously, how do I break in? And his advice was just be yourself, which is, it sounds good on a throw pillow, doesn't tell you how to break in. But um, it did stick with me though. It doesn't help you break in, but in the sense that maybe I won't break in, never get a big comic deal, just being myself. But I'll be the best artist I can be. And so his advice may not mean much in terms of like how to get big in comics, but it's probably good advice, for your soul. So I guess I'll go with that. He had a lot of weird off the wall advice. Todd McFarlane's a weird off the wall guy. Um, he's the only artist I ever knew that told you not to worry about drawing from photos or drawing from real life. Todd would say, draw from comics. You want to learn to draw comics? Draw comics. No one, really, Patty. Everybody expects something. But thanks for your comment. That makes more sense. All I can be is all I can be. But I spent a lot of years trying to be somebody else. Like I wanted to be marketable. I wanted to be Todd McFarlane. Or when I first started, I'm going to pause my drawing here real quick and talk. I got something to say. Why not? When I first started working the internet and met Mike and Eric and some of my collaborators, I had a publisher interested in me for um, I don't remember the project now, and that's probably good. Publisher was interested in me, really liked my work, told me to lighten up on the cross hatching, and that hit me a little bit because that was my thing, right? If you've seen, Ken's comics, maybe I have an example, but I do a lot of the dark, um, gritty, heavy cross hatching. It's sort of where I live. Let me show you this right here. All this cross hatching around the edges and the lines and the clothes there. That's what I thought was my strength, and the publisher thought it was more of a weakness. Like it was too much. It was too rough. And there's something to be said for the fact that maybe I needed to polish my style a little bit. I have in a lot of ways. Um, this is a much more polished piece. Um, I've learned to do a lot of different things with my work, and sure, this picture here was probably 15 years ago. So I get kind of what they were saying, but at the same time, it took me in a direction where I was. They ultimately weren't interested in me, and it's not that I was refusing or something to give them what they wanted. It was just like I don't know. It just kind of fizzled out. I had some interest in from them, and it was really exciting for a while, and then um, they sort of disappeared. They didn't even reject me and tell me they're going another way. And that was worse. I wish I had just gotten a rejection so I could say, "Oh, okay, well, this didn't work out for this reason." Um, it was early on in the internet, it was before Facebook and stuff even was a big deal. And it made me feel like, okay, man, to be marketable, to do what I want to do, which is make comics and be hired. And this is before I got the idea to self publish. So this was me just constantly trying. I thought the way I could make comics was to get somebody to pay me, hire me, and back then, man, there's like the big two. You really had a couple of options. You work for Marvel, you work for DC, maybe work for Image, but even that was really slim in the late '90s or in the early 2000s. Yeah. So for me, it was like I have to work on making myself more professional, more marketable. And it was really around this time that, Angel's Blood uh, came to be because that was me trying to take art seriously. Um, Now, Angel's Blood, you know, is a rough, gritty, dark, edgy comic, and it's supposed to be. And it worked out for me that the cross hatching and stuff made sense in that book. But I did try to temper myself, and I started working on being more simple with my drawing, and I found that very hard because I always think it needs a little something. Matt, my best friend Matt Walker since kindergarten, told me, um, and I'm sure he's not watching, so I don't feel bad saying his name. He doesn't do much social media. Um, he told me once that a work of art is never finished, only abandoned. And I think that echoes in my head to the point that I disagree, but I sort of agree. At some point, you have to I have to tell myself when to stop. And so in doing so, I feel like I don't know when sometimes to quit. My wife will tell you, I usually think too much is not enough. That works for me in some ways and not others. I think back to the point of my story though, was early on I felt let down by some random indie publisher that I don't even remember anymore. I felt in my soul that maybe I needed to change the kind of art I was doing, the kind of artist I was, and maybe lighten up on the cross hatching and try and do more typical, clean comic book lines. Superhero stuff. I was never into superhero stuff. Now I know a lot of people are going to think, "Oh, you like the Hulk. Hulk's a big superhero." Well, I disagree, and I don't think the Hulk's a superhero anyway. Hulk is a monster. I mean, at his heart, the Incredible Hulk is a rage monster, dude. I don't. He's not a spandex clad superhero. So whenever they do put him in an outfit and try and make him save the world, it's a little against type for me. Um, and the thing I like about the Hulk is that with all that being a monster, he's exaggerated. He's muscular. He's got all this room for detail. And monsters are more fun to draw than superheroes. Just straight up, more fun for me. See, monster. Um, so I tried to do some of that, and I've gone back and forth, and it's weird because I think I took myself through a journey where I did some superhero comics for a while. I did Global Defense Force. Um, which, by the way, issue number 4 is in the works on Indiegogo. You can back that campaign right now. I am not doing the art, but I am doing the lettering. Which is weird. I'm not really a letterer by trade, but I can do lettering. So, um, my man Brian, when he lost his letterer for the project, asked me if I'd take over, and I'm happy to do so because I've been with that project since it started. I was the first artist attached to it. I published it under my label, Incremental Studios, at the time, which just gradually became Ken's Comics through a bunch of weird decisions because I was just trying, guys. When you saw Incremental Studios and then Ink Therapy, I was just trying to be clever, pretending like I was a writer, and I don't feel like I am. Patty, you don't have to apologize to me. You got stuff to do. My videos will always be up, and I love hearing from you. Um, and we're getting vaxxed and relaxed over here, so very soon we'll be able to plan some visits and make something substantial happen. I appreciate my friends that check out my work and tune in. So I'm kind of wish I was closer, and I wish my base weren't so messy. Trying to get a better view here because I don't know if you can see how much I'm drawing. Nope. Nope. Um, so that's not going quite the way I wanted. But guys, so I'm trying to draw this dude, this demon dude. Let me talk a little bit. Let me Google this guy's name because I'm gonna find him. Because I like watching. Remember when I was a teenager and we had a little comic show at the mall. And it was just one of these goofy little shows. It was really small, and this guy was set up with a basically just had a small table, like an end table, like I'm drawing on now, and a chair. And the guy had a handful of like cheaply made black and white ash can comics. Excuse me, I got itchy nose. And I met him. I got his book. He signed it, and I don't remember who he was, and I don't remember the book. I don't think I have it anymore. It was been so long, and I didn't even like the book. I just loved the fact that this guy was sitting there signing books and selling them in person. I'm like, wow, this is very cool. This is the kind of thing I want to do someday. Etrigan, this character I'm drawing, his name is Etrigan. I think that's how I'm going to pronounce it phonetically. So this cover has this guy looks like he's jumping off of a castle into a crowd of people with pitchforks. So it's a Jack Kirby issue of the DC comic called The Demon. So this is impressive to me because I like this kind of more obscure stuff. Everybody knows Jack Kirby from uh, like the Hulk and the bigger deal stuff that he's done. There's my video. I'm looking around at all this stuff on my screen. Now that everything came back up, everything is back up. And I was in such a hurry to get going live and not miss my window that I didn't close any windows and it just restored everything to where it was. Um, all right, this is I'm gonna do some pitchforks down here just for fun. Because I'd like to copy this a little bit, still as an homage to the original Jack Kirby, King Kirby, as he's known. Sort of inspiring, like I said, all of the generations of comic artists that he alone um, inspired with his work. The golden age classic style of storytelling. He did stuff with just some simple lines and energy that I, I still to this like I can't do. And you know, technology's evolved, and I think I'm a fairly decent artist when it comes to lines and muscle structures and stuff, all the stuff like that, and maybe in ways that um, in some ways are better, maybe some ways worse than the classics. But when you look at that golden age, they did so much with so little. It's amazing, and it was impressive, and it's still impressive, and it's just in its simplicity. Sometimes it's like when you watch the classic Star Trek, and you see the styrofoam sets and stuff, but you're like, man, like what you guys were working with uh, was astonishing, and what you pulled off was awe-inspiring, and the fact that it still holds up to be fun and entertaining while maybe a little dated and having a little cheese factor. Uh, it's impressive. It stays impressive. I'm making my camera wiggle. Sorry about that. So I'm gonna just throw a little bit. I don't want to get too detailed because I really want the figure to pop. So lines for this guy, some lines for that guy. Yeah, this isn't a straight lift of the cover, but it's a homage to the classic Jack Kirby. I'm just gonna let this flow. I always hate drawing anything going right up to a character's crotch when he's in the background. Oh, hey, this thing's on fire. Okay, hold on. All right, so I'm sorry. As I'm looking at this original cover, um, the castle that he's leaping from is ablaze. So I'm gonna have some fire going on coming out of these windows and stuff. It's actually gonna help me cheat a little bit because when something's on fire, you don't have to draw it perfectly either. I saw some little flames there around his hand in the original, and I was like, where is that coming from? I thought it was coming from his hand. Looks like, in actuality, dude has jumped from a flaming castle. Now I really want to read this book. Jesus. So I know I don't have a lot of people watching now, but hopefully you'll be watching later. So I thank you for checking this out. Um, Angel's Blood. If I haven't got the link in the comments, yes, I do. Okay, right at the top of the comments is the link to the Kickstarter. Um, it jumped off with a bang, and I am in no way disappointed. Okay, I'm super happy with how this program is going so far. We have a great little set of stories, 24-page prequel edition, two separate short stories. First one is about Father Miller, who is the priest from issue number 1, and we see him before he became a priest, and we get a hint at why he joined the clergy. In my humble opinion, although I didn't write it, I feel like he went through some shit and decided to hide from the world because being out in the world caused a strain on him that he couldn't bear. And in the second story, we see Golgoth, who is was human before he was a demon. He was just a regular bad guy. Back in colonial times, he was a early American settler, and he was let's just say none too kind to the natives. And we see a little bit of what he's done and what's done to him as a result. I don't know if you've seen the sneak peek here. The story's been out, so I mean, I hate to give spoilers, but this book's not brand new. I'm going to show you a glimpse here. If we get the funding to the next level, now we've made our first goal, so the book is happening. If we get our funding to the next level, we're going to add like this color splash thing, which is where I'm going to color the line art in strategic places for impact. I did a red splash in the first issue, so was where there was blood, I colored it red. But just the line art because I'm a big fan of lines. We talked about my cross hatching addiction, and this is an extension of that. But using color to make things a little stronger. I think this, for example, the blues make the underwater experience a little more submersive. Still without taking away from the line art, which again, that's where I live. I love the line art. We are at present, we are just $170 away from that goal. So if we make that, we're going to do the color splash edition. And I've got trading cards that we're about to print up. Now, making trading cards of Mohammed. So my man Mohammed Lubasan made these great pinups. He did one for Angel's Blood #1, and he did another one for me here for 0. And they're just awesome. If you look at that, I'm actually a little bit ashamed of myself because I think he draws Golgoth better than I do. But he's an amazing freelance artist. Guy never stops working. I'm really constantly impressed by him. I've known him for about a decade now. We started out just being like Facebook friends, and then we've both grown our careers together since then. So he lives half a world away, so we talk in the middle of the night when it's afternoon over there. It's middle of the night here, and we were up last night still talking about the new project he's working on, Global Defense, which is really weird because that was my project to start, and he somehow got involved. And it's this indie world is a small world, even though there's hundreds and hundreds of creators in it. Like comics is still a small community, and I find that you see connections where you didn't expect them to. So anyway, we're doing trading cards, doing the color splash. Then next level, we're gonna do the chromium cover. I'm sorry, not chromium, holofoil. I say chromium because it's an 80s, 90s throwback. Wow, I have been rambling for almost an hour. I'm gonna have to apologize to Will for taking so long on his book here. Let's remove this graphic. Put this up one more time just so you can see the next thing we're gonna do if we get to $1,200. We're over 1,000 now. If we get to 1,200, we have 18 days left. We're gonna do some extra stuff. And I made poker chips. Oh my god, I just thought these were so badass. Made some very cool limited edition Angel's Blood 0 poker chips. Once I make those, they're gone. So I've already ordered a run of 25, and if we get enough demand for them, we'll do more. But if not, then once that 25 is gone, they're gone, and you'll never see them again because I wanted them to be a special just for this Kickstarter limited edition. All right, guys. That's the end of my day. I'm gonna sign this for Will. Thanks a ton, Will. Thanks to everyone for watching. I'm going to check back in later. This was a special day. I'm going to start doing my videos at the same time, same place every week, and that's going to be Monday at noon for the time being because I have Mondays free. So I have 2 more sketch covers yet to do, and I'm going to tackle maybe 2 of them if I can do them faster. If it's Golgoth, I can draw them really quickly. If it's Hulk, I can draw them really quickly. This guy, I've never drawn before. So Etrigan from the Demon. Thanks, Will, for giving me something weird and new to do. Hopefully, more sketch covers are coming. I'd like to see how many people are interested in watching their art get done. I love doing it. Thank you for patronizing me. Last chance. Any comments before I go? Here. Thank you, guys. All right. Appreciate your. See, this might be a better look at it. I appreciate your tuning in. Check us out again. 18 days left on the Angel's Blood 0 project on Kickstarter. I hope that you guys have a great weekend. Take care of yourselves and each other. This is where I